Hi everybody, this is the Prospect Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Your host, the Hunter. Welcome back to the Prospect Hut, and hopefully you like this video. We're going to get into the, sort of a report card of the Mets prospects for the month of May. And I'll put my commentary in, but this is from Amazing Avenue. Mets prospect report card for May. How did the prospects of the New York Mets grade out for the month of May? First up, let's talk about Nolan McLean. Now, Nolan McLean got off to a very good start in April. In 6 starts, he pitched 35 and a third innings, 20 hits, 12 runs, 10 earned runs, for an ERA of 2.55, 10 walks, 45 strikeouts, with 234 BAPIP. In the month of May, he pitched six games, 6 starts, 31 innings, not as many innings, 30 hits, so the hits went up. 24 runs scored, 21 earned runs for an ERA of 6.10. He's 3-4 right now. 14 walks, 32 strikeouts. For the season, he has pitched in 12 games, 66 and a third innings, 50 hits, 36 runs scored, 31 earned runs for 4.21 ERA, 24 walks. That's high. Okay, 77 strikeouts. Last month was an A+. Now it's down to a B. In April, McLean looked like a true top-of-the-rotation ace pitcher. That outlook began looking bleaker in May as the right-hander turned in a couple of solid outings and a couple of true stinkers. Overall, while McLean may have been punching above his weight a bit prior to really settling in, and the league having time to adjust in between his 66 and a third innings this year and his 48 last year, I'm not worried overall. This is the writer. And as I said during the offseason, I don't think McLean is going to settle in as literally one of the top pitchers in baseball, but I think he will be a better than average contributor overall. Now, in my opinion, I'm not too concerned. Part of the issues with McLean is just his amateur time as a pitcher is very limited. He was a reliever at Oklahoma. So his ability to be a pitcher on a regular basis, being a starter, is very limited. So he's learning how to manage game. He's learning how to navigate lineups. I think he's done a fantastic job for a guy that doesn't have the experience as a starter. I have thought that the way he's been talked about over the last few weeks has been very unfair. And I think that it's all about the season. So far, he had a very good April. He's had a rough May, but he has so much talent, and he's only going to get better. But like I said, he has to learn. He's learning a lot of stuff on the fly in the major leagues. He's only been a regular starter for the last 2 years, so he's been able to stay healthy, which is great so far. But he needs to he'll get it. He'll figure it out. At number 2, Carson Benge. For the month of April, he hit 186, 247 on base percentage, 279 slugging percentage. Now, your host was really calling for him to get sent down to the minor leagues. He had 2 doubles, 2 home runs. For the month of May, he's hitting 306, he hit 306 with 33 hits, which was the most for a rookie player for the Mets, other than a few other guys. 7 doubles, 2 home runs, 9 walks. On Tuesday against the Mariners, he hit 2 home runs in the game, so far as I'm recording this video. Right now, he's hitting 253 coming into Tuesday's action, with 318 on base, 359 slugging percentage. So that OPS is getting close to 700. It's slowly getting there. He's got 9 doubles and 6 home runs. Last month he was a C-. Now he's a B+. And that's stuck with Benge despite his early season struggles, and opting to let him play out of his doldrums has since paid dividends, as the outfield has arguably become the Mets' best player outside of Juan Soto. And I love that file. They show those home runs that he hit. Oh my God, that's like a left-handed version of Mike Piazza. He's got some, and he's like the opposite in terms of he was a 2-way player in college as well. Oklahoma, and his problem is a little bit different. His becoming an everyday player is different because he's playing every single day. So any kind of mistakes, any kind of adjustments he's having to make, his adjustments are quicker. He's adjusting to things quicker. The thing about McLean is that he's only pitching every 5 days, every 6 days, and his adjustment period of being able to sort of counteract what's going on against the opposition, there's more error there. With Benge playing every day, learning how to play every day, he's not been able to do this, his whole career up until now, over the last 2 years. So he's been able to sort of just seeing the growth. I think the month of June is going to be spectacular for him. Jonah Tom, he's next on number 3. He pitched 25 and a third innings in April. The 20 hits, 19 runs, 16 earned runs, 15 walks, very high. That's terrible. 38 strikeouts. For the month of May, he's pitched 12 and 2/3 innings since the minor leagues. 8 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned runs, 9 walks. Now, he pitched on Tuesday as the bulk reliever. Now they say that he's holding his grade at C+. The first couple of outings that he had in relief have been pretty good, but this relief outing in Seattle was a unmitigated disaster. He was having difficulty putting away hitters. He was having a lot of problems in terms of managing the game. I mean, just being able to put batters away is a big deal, and he had a very difficult time of it. He gave a 3-run home run to Parada, and that really just knocked him out of the game. Some of the similar issues that he had last year when he pitched in September cropped up in this game. The other games, you didn't see that. He was able to manage the innings and manage the games as well as you could possibly imagine. He did not do that in this game because he had a difficult time managing the innings and putting these hitters away. And number 4, A.J. Ewing. In April, he hit 349, 63 at-bats, 481 on base, 571 slugging percentage. Incredible. 22 hits, 6 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs. He hit his first double in the major leagues on Tuesday. In May, he hit 235. I guess he's all triple A. 8 hits, but he wasn't there for long, 9 games. So for the season, he was hit 349 and triple A and double A. As with the Mets right now, the Mets probably rushed him to a certain degree because he wasn't really ready. He is going through a bit of a downturn, but I love his defense. His defense is excellent. He's going to win a Gold Glove one day. That's how good he is defensively. If not this year, I mean, that's how good he's been defensively for the Mets, and he's very exciting. You got to be very patient with him because he's a guy that's been an infielder. I wouldn't have a problem with the Mets putting him at second if they got desperate, or they had another guy in their outfield that they could play every day, or they want to just get his bat in the lineup. He can't play second, and they said that he's good defensively at second. Number 5, Jacob Reimer. Now, 20 games in April, he hit 186 with 6 doubles and 1 home run. He's had a lousy start. In 22 games in May, he had 80 at-bats, hit 225, a little bit better, but the season's in 207, 150 at-bats. He's starting to get a little bit better. Reimer's starting to get his legs under him following a sluggish start, but the infield still isn't quite where you'd want him to be. We're getting very close to the sample size between his excellent 2025 and his 26 season being the same, and Reimer's regressed in every way possible. Something obvious in his bad ball data which suggests why his AA BAP/IP plummeted from a healthy 340 last year to a weaker 271 this year. But here we are. Hopefully more hits begin landing in the coming weeks, and that number rises above 300. Ryan Clifford, number 6. In April, he hit 224 with 5 doubles, 5 home runs. In May, I mentioned the home runs because I think it's important for him. In May, he hit 233 with 5 doubles and 8 home runs, but the strikeout total is just horrific. 78 strikeouts so far and coming into Tuesday's play. At the slow start in virtually every stat, Clifford has gone off to Schneid, cutting back on the strikeout rate a tad and hitting for the kind of power that we know he can hit for. Despite hitting 5 doubles, 1 triple, and 8 homers, the slugger is still just a scratch neutral offensive contributor for the season. His walk rate is roughly 5% below the norms he set over the last few years, And Clifford needs to bump that back up a bit. He's got a lot of work to do. He really does. At number 7, Will Watson. Now, he's had a horrible season. I believe he got hurt. Oh, yeah, so he's going to be out for a while. He had an oblique injury. He's going to be out a while. But his April, he pitched 19 1/3 innings for an ERA of 6.98. And 1 game start in May, he had an ERA of 54. And 6 game starts, he's got 20 innings, 26 hits, 21 runs he's given up, 19 earned for an ERA of 8.55. Terrible. Jack Wenninger, this is the opposite. He had an awesome April. In 5 games, he pitched 22 1/3 innings for an ERA of 1.61. In the month of May, he's regressed a little bit. This isn't AAA. He could be in the major leagues at some point this year. 5 games, 22 2/3 innings, 19 hits, 13 runs, 10 earned for an ERA 3.97, 13 walks. That's high. The walk rate's very, very high here, and 20 strikeouts. Wenninger cruised through April and seemed well on his way, cruising through the month of May as well, but about halfway through the month, he completely cratered. After shutting out his opponents in his first 2 starts, he then allowed a pair of runs in 2 1/3 innings against the Rail Riders, 4 and 5 1/3 innings against the Buffalo Bisons, and 4 and 4 innings against the Red Wings. He's got a lot of work to do. Mitch Voigt, number 9. In 19 games, he had 7 in April. He had 76 at bats for a 224 batting average, 382 slugging percentage. In May, 18 games, 67 at bats, 224 batting average, 403 slugging percentage. It's a little bit better. Not much. It's hard to gauge him, who was supposed to be a somewhat advanced college hitter. His performance in 22 games with St. Lucie last season after being drafted. Easy to write his struggles off because of the circumstances. His performance in 38 games of Brooklyn this year so far is a bit less easy to write off due to the circumstances. But we can't completely ignore the fact that being a right-handed hitter in Brooklyn, the writer says, I'm not particularly enthusiastic about Voigt's upside and his ability to reach it, but it's still way too early to give up hope. Another thing I've talked about of not like drafting catchers high, you never draft a second baseman high. This is another reason why you're better off drafting a shortstop or an outfielder. You know, if you're going to draft somebody, or a first baseman, you don't draft unless the first baseman is so good. If he's Nick Kurtz or John Older of the past, I would never, ever draft a second baseman first round. Never. Never, ever, ever. I would never do that. You know, but the Mets did that last year. At number 10, Jonathan Santucci. In 4 games and 17 1/3 innings, 13 hits, 12 runs, he had an ERA of 5.71. The month of May, an improvement. Actually, had an improvement. In 6 games, he pitched 28 2/3 innings, 25 hits, 13 runs scored, 11 earned runs for an ERA of 3.45. So that's a major improvement over the first month, over the second month. He's an interesting case. He's left-handed, so he's going to get a lot of chances. And he's the Mets' best lefty, by the way, in that system. John Santucci wasn't bad in April, but there were things he could improve. Southpaw had a much better May, cutting down on walks and boosting his strikeout rate. He's still a little more hittable than you'd want. But outside of that, his surface level stats look strong, as well as the advanced public metrics that we have to have access to. He's an interesting case because he did not pitch much in college. He's hurt a lot. The Mets really did a lot of interesting things with their draft last year. They picked up a lot of pitchers that had injuries, guys that had Tom John surgeries, guys that had very limited experience but have high upside. He's a guy that has limited experience. And he didn't pitch much for Duke, but he pitched enough that people liked him, and they made him their number 2 pick. Number 11, Elian Pena, very exciting player, hit .353 in April with a .482 slugging percentage in 22 games. Now, the month of May was not kind to Elian. This is really his first dip in his his time here in the minor leagues, and he's playing at 18 years old in Port St. Lucie. But in 23 games in May, he hit .216 with a .307 slugging percentage. His overall year has been pretty good. Pena had himself an excellent April, especially relative to his age, but he cooled down a bit in May. He's still drawing a lot of walks and is not striking out successfully, so the writer doesn't think there's any reason to panic. Going forward, I would like to start seeing some more extra base power from him, as he already has an extremely positive LDGB fastball percentages and can use them more in his favor with some baseball aggression. The interesting thing with him is that his exit velocities are not very high. So that's the one thing people have taken notice of in the minor leagues. Number 12, Zach Thornton. When we saw him, he needs some work. He needs some work, to be honest with you. But he had an ERA of 3.60 in the minor leagues. Thornton was promoted to AAA. Syracuse at the beginning of the month. Looked solid in the 2 games he made there, so much so that the Mets opted to call him up to Queens over other potential stars to make a spot start. His debut did not go that well, nor did his last start against the Rochester Red Wings at the end of the month, after he was sent back down to Syracuse. Nick Morabito, in 26 games, we'll do the overall. In 45 games and 165 at-bats, he had 248 with a 376 slugging percentage, 7 doubles, 1 triple, 4 home runs. Morabito had a strong start to the season, but started tailing off by the end of April. In May, his offensive slide continued. Be that as it may, Mets called the outfielder up in the middle of the month. He wasn't here for long, for about a week. He looked completely over the match at the plate, but flashed some leather in the fielding opportunities that came his way. He was actually back down to AAA a few days later, with the Mets deciding that they wanted him to play every day, rather than spend a considerable time on the bench, waiting for favorable matchups to pencil his name into the lineup for. The thing to keep in mind about Morabito is he's not really going to be considered an everyday player. So people thought that he was going to be an everyday player when he came up here. He's going to be a bench player. That's been his reputation for all these years that I've followed him in the minor leagues. So he's got great defense. He's going to steal bases. He's going to hit. I don't know why he didn't hit much. He's a little overmatched, I guess. R.J. Gordon, he pitched 4 games. Got off to, I guess, a slow start because he was injured. Pitched 9 2/3 innings. 17 hits, 13 runs, 9 earned runs, 5 walks, and 10 strikeouts. This is a guy I'm very excited about. This at number 15 is Chris Suaro. But his batting average is not great. But the thing that's interesting about him is his versatility. For the season, 41 games he has hit. He's had 139 at-bats. He's hit 183. He's got a 352 on base, 384 slugging percentage. So he's got a OPS over 700. How's that possible with a guy that's hitting 180? Well, he's got 25 hits, 5 doubles, a triple, 7 home runs. He has stolen 15 stolen bases. This is a very intriguing prospect. If Chris Suaro could elevate the bowler more, he would be in the midst of a really strong season. The catch currently has a 10% line drive rate, 46.3% ground ball rate, and a 43.8% fly ball rate. If you turn 5 to 10% of those ground balls he is hitting into line drives, his BAPIP would increase. Increasing his batting average and slugging percentage would like to get a nice little boost. Suaro is never going to be a 300 hitter, but with his ability to take a walk, a little more average, and a little more slugging, would make a very nice offensive player. He has a chance to be an everyday player. From everything I've read about him, and not be a star, but be an everyday player because he can catch, he can play left field, he can play first, he can steal bases. I mean, he's got so much going for him as a player. He is one of the most exciting players in the Mets farm system, in my opinion, because he could do all this stuff, but he's gotten off to a very rough start in Double A. He's got to get that batting average. If he gets that batting average, his OPS will hit 800 very quickly. Number 16, Dylan Ross. He's pitched 12 games. He's had a terrible start. He's missed most of April and has not looked good in May at all. He appeared in 4 rehab games prior to being activated with Syracuse, but the right-hander does not look like the same pitcher he was last season. He's walking just as many batters, and he's a guy that's got to stop throwing strikes. Ryan Lambert, another guy, same problem. Walks a lot of batters. In 16 innings this year, in 17 games, he's walked 13 batters. It's not going to cut it. Yeah, it's not going to cut it. Sorry. In the month of April, He pitched 8 2/3 innings, struck out 12, walked 9. That's not going to cut. In May, there was a slight improvement. 7 1/3 innings, walked 4 batters. If he does that, he'll be in the majors. But he's just so wild. Antonio Jimenez, in 20 games, he's got. Let me just skip that because his numbers are so bad. For the entire month of April and May, he's had. Let's see here. Everything's all screwed up here. Let's see. Let me go back. Yeah, they screwed up the numbers here. In the month of April, in 20 games, he had 143, 11 hits, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. For the month of May, an improvement at 238 in 6 games. So he must have been hurt there. After struggling in April in the beginning of May, where he was once one of the worst offensive players in the entire organization, Jimenez was placed on the developmental list in mid-May. Wow. He returned at the end of the month, signed to St. Lucie, and has since had slightly better results over the course of a few games, although in a less difficult setting. Oh boy. So he's got some issues here. So he's way behind. Edward Lantigua. Lantigua was held back and extended spring training to help nurse a core injury, finally getting on the field at the end of April with St. Lucie. He appeared in a few games in May, but was placed on 7-day injured list on May 10th after hurting himself while sliding. 9 games at 167, so this is an incomplete. Eli Serrano III. In 44 games and 158 at-bats, he's hit 196 with 31 hits, 12 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs, 51 strikeouts. Pathetic. Serrano had a cool April, but cooled off even more in May, logging fewer hits. Randy Guzman. He's an interesting prospect. Keep an eye on him. In 47 games, he's hit 260 with a 355 on base percentage, 485 slugging percentage. So he's over 800 with his OPS. That's good. 9 doubles, 1 triple, 9 home runs. He's got power. Guzman more or less mirrored his solid start to the year in May. His batting average on base percentage rising a bit thanks to a more favorable BAPIP. If the young outfielder continues what he is doing right now and continues to accumulate some counting stats, it would be hard not to imagine a promotion up to High A Brooklyn, sooner rather than later. He's a very good prospect. Heard about him last year. Number 22, Davison Gutierrez, a catcher. Right now, he's hitting 148 in 43 games. Gutierrez had a bad April, but has really created in May. So he's had a terrible year. Boston Barrow, he sustained a right shoulder injury prior to the start of the 26th season and was expected to return to the field around the All-Star break. But the infield returned to action much earlier than expected, getting signed to the Florida Complex League Mets for a rehab assignment on the 21st and going 2 for 5 with striking out in 2 games. What happened? Where is he? That's 2 weeks ago. That was a week and a half ago. Marco Vargas, he was put on the injured list himself today. So he's not a prospect. I don't know why he's still on here. I don't consider him a prospect anymore. And finally, it's the final guy. Peter Cuso. Didn't play in April, didn't play in May, did not play at all this year. And he underwent season-ending labrum surgery on his right shoulder prior to the start of the season. He's the Mets' number 3 pick from last year. So the Mets' number 1 pick, number 2 pick, and number 3 pick from last year have all been a disaster. Jimenez was the number 2 pick from the Mets, and Cuso is the number 3 pick. So one guy is the number 1 pick at Mitch Voigt, who should not have been drafted because he's a second baseman. I would not have done that. Jimenez has gotten off to a terrible start, got demoted to developmental league, and then Peter Cuso is injured. Great job, David Stearns. Great job. Let me know what you think about this video, and of course, please subscribe to the Prospect Hut, and I'll see you later.